Five-time Olympian Dara Torres on what she would say to Olympians concerned about competing in the 2016 Games amid the Zika virus outbreak. Now, the CDC announcing just this week that it is monitoring nearly 300 women with evidence of a Zika virus infection in the United States and surrounding territories. Joining me now is infectious disease and public health specialist Dr. Celine Gounder. So a couple things to talk about. First off, there is here Dara Torres saying, if you follow the rules, you should be okay. Is she correct?
She is correct. So you have to remember a couple things. One, this is largely a mosquito-transmitted disease. There have been very rare cases of sexual transmission, but largely mosquito-transmitted. So if you take your precautions of wearing insect repellent, long sleeves, long pants, treating your clothing with permethrin and other insect repellent, and staying indoors to the degree that's possible, you're really going to be protected from transmission.
The CDC this week, and I was just mentioning that they're monitoring a certain number of women. Does that number surprise you? What are you looking for in that piece of information that came from the CDC?
So yesterday, the CDC released the first of what are going to be weekly reports looking at Zika virus cases in the United States. One thing that has been misreported by others in the media is that we've seen a threefold increase in Zika cases. What's really happened is how the Zika cases are being tested and reported. So in the past, CDC had only been reporting those who had symptoms. Now we're reporting everybody who tests positive, and that's why the numbers are higher.
Look at that map, and we were aware of it. You've been aware of it as this comes from NASA, where the risk forecast is right now. Will we see this shift at all as we get closer to the summer? Because it'll get warmer. We'll have more humidity in some spaces.
So our primary risk, or our primary concern, is really for the Gulf Coast, so everywhere from Texas down to Florida, and that's based on where the Aedes aegypti mosquitoes are found throughout the year, but especially during the summer months. So that's really the part of the country that we're most worried about.
Do you see it moving farther west, though? Because on the map here, if you talk about the Gulf Coast, we're making it really up to Texas and no farther west, but it does have some of the areas in the south there, Arizona, New Mexico, southern Baja California, those areas will have, it seems, the right humidity, the right conditions for mosquitoes.
There's certainly the possibility, and when you look at some of the other maps that have been shown with the risk zone going even farther north, even as far north here as New York City, a lot of that has to do with whether a related mosquito, the albopictus mosquito, can transmit as well. One thing that is reassuring, though, is two of the viruses that are related to Zika virus, which are dengue and chikungunya. We've only seen outbreaks of those really along the Gulf Coast, so we expect Zika to behave similarly.
So these CDC reports that you're going to be receiving weekly, what's the key piece of information you're watching to see that we've broken through, things are about to get better?
Well, one, we want to see a peak in the number of cases, but part of what the CDC is also doing is
a peak?
You want to see a peak and then it come down.
Got it.
And exactly, and you also a lot of what the CDC is doing is monitoring women who have had infections during pregnancy to see what happens to their infants. So that's really the key information, because right now we know that there is a risk of microcephaly and other birth defects if a woman gets pregnant or has a Zika virus infection during pregnancy. But we don't know exactly what percentage of them will actually have a child with a birth defect. It's low, but we don't know exactly how low.
Dr. Celine Gounder, thank you so much, specialist in infectious diseases. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
Happening now, new information about the